Hey, the very accomplished Steve Amirault joins me, a native Nova Scotian. Steve has lived in New York City, Toronto, and is now back in his longtime home of Montreal. 6 recordings as leader under his belt. The award-winning pianist has worked with folks like Dave Liebman and Eddie Gomez and Sheila Jordan. And it is a pleasure to head to Montreal and hang out with Steve Amirault on this International Jazz Day. Steve, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Brad. How are you?
I am very well. You look great.
Good to see you.
Great to see you too. It's a hard one to describe, but since we're celebrating International Jazz Day, Steve, what does jazz, the word, mean to you?
Oh my God.
I know.
You could have sent me a list of questions.
You can take a pass on it, or, I don't know if it's been an evolution of what you thought about maybe when you started studying and where it is now, but is there some way of, in a nutshell, sort of saying what that word can possibly mean to you?
After all these years, clearly would have meant something when I started studying at St. FX that would be completely different to now. Because, a lot of times as a Canadian, probably even more so Nova Scotian, jazz seems like a music that's from away, but after playing all these years, I think it's so personal, Sure, there are people that play like people that they study. But if you write a lot of music and you find a way to go about amassing all your influences and play what you feel like playing, I think it's really personal. Whether people like it or not is not really an issue. You have to find a way to fall into place somehow with all this music that's existed before, and come up with something that you really enjoy doing. And hopefully other people will. That's kind of like the almost 60 years old take, I guess.
Was it always the intent when you started that I need to get to a place where I have my own sound, where it is my own thing? Or for a while, is it easy to sort of adopt other people's sort of styles and sort of live in that mode? Or was there a single-mindedness to, I got to do this, but it's to get to another place where it is Steve that you're hearing?
Well, like a lot of people, when I was young, I thought I knew everything and I didn't need to, that I was going to have my own thing, which was ridiculous because I sounded terrible. And as you get older, you start to, dig into your influences and pick and choose what you like. It's like this is one thing I play that I'd forgotten where it comes from. And I was listening to a Coltrane record, and McCoy played this thing. I was like, oh yeah, that's where, because I remembered the solo on Crescent from McCoy, and I had learned this little fourth thing, and I was really in love with it. And I spun it around and played it so much differently, and I'd actually forgotten that little thing came from there. So, but the same thing can be said about, the music from, we're almost the same age. The music from the 70s, I listened to a lot of Gino Vanelli too when I was a kid, so I don't know,
I follow you on social media. It seems like you're still in the woodshed all the time, or I don't know if that's but you're hitting it. You're hitting it on a daily basis. You're in there still trying to work on stuff, and I just, and is it very, when you sit down every day, is there something in your mind that you're trying to accomplish, or is it more broad, like I'm going to wait for something to come to me when I get behind the keyboard?
You need to keep in shape, number one, because doing this is physically taxing, so you got to spend time in the instrument or else it just doesn't work, well. But having goals and projects really makes the difference as to what to work on, because having too much time, give somebody enough rope, they'll hang themselves. Having too much time is not, So right now, when I came back, I focused really hard on arranging tunes for this trio that I've got called Montreal Jazz Trio, MJT, and it's with longtime contemporaries Jim Doxis and Adrian Vedati, and we've been playing a lot, and we did a record actually which will be coming out in a couple of months, and so I was working on the arrangements for that record, and I spent a lot of time doing that, and of course it was COVID and still is, so the focus was really good. It kept me reasonably sane, not really sane, but reasonably sane,
And it was just
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, that's what I've been focusing on. I've been writing actually a few contrafacts with all harmony, based on a few standard tunes that we all know and love. And then, of course, I did write a few tunes, just a few originals in the last little while during this downtime, if you will.
So you guys haven't gone in the studio yet?
Yeah, we have.
So it's ready to go?
Being mastered.
Great. I can't wait to hear it.
So and it's there's 3 original tunes, 2 of mine and 1 of Adrian Vedati's, and the rest are standards that I arranged. And yeah, it's a super fun trio. We really enjoy it. We get together and play as much as possible, and yeah. Well, so if the world doesn't end, we'll hopefully be doing some touring and make it to Toronto, and
I'm counting on that, Steve. I'm counting on that. Well, yeah. I see coincidentally, I see you sitting at a piano.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you would delight us with a selection and tell us what you're going to do for us.
Sure. I'm not sure. Do you want 2? Do you want 1? Or
whatever your feelings. If you want to put 2 into like into
5 minutes.
Yeah, bingo.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Amirault. It's all yours.
I don't know, how is the view on this?
Perfect. Looks great.
So this is based on a standard, and I'll let you see if you can guess. Okay.
All right, quiz.
I didn't play the whole thing, but that of course is out of nowhere, right?
Nicely done.
And I don't actually quote the melody in the recording. I just did that for. And this one I wrote at the beginning of the pandemic, and it's called Empathy, which as we all were sitting around watching Facebook and going crazy. And everybody arguing and yelling about what they believe and what they don't believe. And anyway, so I wrote this. It's called Empathy.
Steve Amirault, folks. So beautiful, Steve.
Thank you.
Empathy. It's been great to spend a little time with you today, Steve. It's great to see you. I hope you stay well there. We look forward to when you can bring the trio here to Toronto and we can see you here in our city. If is there anything else you want to put out there for folks where they can find you? If there's something going on that you want to promote right now, it's all yours if you would like to, sir.
Well, I'm doing something local. Well, of course I am, because
Not going anywhere.
We're playing outside. The trio's playing outside at Diazon's, the club. I don't know, you know Diazon's. Yeah. They've got a little terrace set up, so they're doing some outdoor performances. So we're playing there on the 8th in the afternoon, and gonna take my new Nord for a spin.
Nice. There it is. She's a beauty. Steve, so much. SteveAmirault.com too for anything else that's going on too, and Facebook you can find Steve. Thanks again. So great to see you, sir. Great to have you be part of it. Take care. There's Steve Amirault, folks.